Hello everyone in the American Constitutional Law class. This video will explain the different resources that the West Library at Texas Wesleyan University has for you to use that pertains to constitutional law. You may be asking yourself who I am. Well, my name is Dennis Miles, and I am a reference and instruction librarian at the Eunice and James L. West Library at Texas Wesleyan University. Here is the table of contents for this video. It tells you the time frame in the video where you can access each topic in the table of contents so that you can go to just the part that you want to watch. There is an online guide for this course that has been prepared for you that contains links to resources that may prove useful to you. There are links to library databases and other online and print resources that may contain information about constitutional law. You can scan the QR code on the screen to go directly to this guide. We will now take a minute to discuss primary and secondary sources about American constitutional law. Primary sources in legal research constitute the actual law itself. In contrast, secondary sources offer commentary, background information, and guidance on the law, often directing researchers to relevant primary sources, though they do not themselves constitute law. So in this case, the primary source is the United States Constitution. Let's take a look at a website created by the U.S. Congress that has the text of the Constitution itself, plus how it has been interpreted over time by the courts. To access the Constitution Annotated website, go to the guide and then click on the Primary Sources tab on the left, and then go to Primary Documents Pertaining to the Constitution heading, and then click on the Constitution Annotated link. To access the Constitution, click on the U.S. Constitution link on the top right on the page, and then you will see the text of the U.S. Constitution. For example, if you wanted to see the text of the First Amendment, click on the First Amendment link on the right side of the page. To see the annotated part of the Constitution, click on the First Amendment Explained link. Now you can see the extensive annotations that are in place for this one amendment. To help you to see why this website is so important, we will return to the main page and click on Methodology for the Constitution Annotated. It says here that the Constitution Annotated provides an objective, comprehensive, authoritative, nonpartisan, and accessible treatment of one of the most, if not the most, contentious legal issues in modern American society: how to read and interpret the Constitution. As the only constitutional law treatise formally authorized by federal law, the Constitution Annotated functions as the official constitution of record, describing how the Constitution has been construed by the Supreme Court and other authoritative constitutional actors since the drafting and ratification of the nation's founding document. Now we will turn to primary documents related to the Constitution that are held at the Library of Congress, America's largest library. The first page on the Library of Congress's website is called Documents from the Continental Congress and the Constitutional Convention, which contains 277 documents relating to the work of Congress and the drafting and ratification of the Constitution. Next is the Federalist Papers, which is a series of 85 essays that urge the citizens of New York State to ratify the new U.S. Constitution. The Federalist Papers are considered one of the most important sources for interpreting and understanding the original intent of the Constitution. Now I will talk a little about the books that we have on the Constitution. Books and ebooks in the guide are found in two places. The first is under the Getting Started tab, and then you go to the Most Used Resources heading on this page and click on the Books and eBooks tab here. The second place is under the Books and eBooks tab. There are 13 books that are divided into 3 tabs. The first are general books on the Constitution, describing the Constitution in the title of the books as being unwritten, embattled, upside down, or invisible. Then we have books that depict the history of Constitution under this tab. And finally, the third tab contains books that discuss rights mentioned in the Constitution. There are a number of law reviews and journals on the U.S. Constitution and on constitutional law. This guide contains a list of several of these journals. This list is found under the Articles tab. Then go down the page until you find the heading Popular Journals. After each description of each journal, which I borrowed from George Mason University, you will see the name of the database where you can access the articles. If you will notice, every one of these journals is available in Nexus Uni except for the Journal of Church and State, which is available on JSTOR. To find secondary law sources, you can use the library catalog to find books. To access the library catalog, you can go to the Books and eBooks tab in the guide, scroll down the page until you get to the Search the West Library Catalog heading with a search box. Here, you can search the catalog for books on constitutional law. To search for journal databases, you can go to the Getting Started tab in the guide and go to the heading Most Used Resources, and there you will see the 3 databases, Legal Collection, Legal Track, and Nexus Uni. These 3 databases are the most important legal databases that the library has, where you can search for articles found in law reviews and journals on the Constitution. There are also 3 law websites that are good places to find information about the law. These 3 websites can be found under the Law and Legal Resources tab in the guide. They are Legal Information Institute, created by Cornell Law School at Cornell University, Justia, and FindLaw. They each have information on the Constitution that could prove useful to students, faculty, the public, and lawyers. Now let us talk more about Nexus Uni. You have already been introduced to Nexus Uni as a source for accessing law review articles. Now we will discuss Nexus Uni as a place to find court cases that pertain to constitutional law. Remember, court opinions are considered primary sources. Remember where the link to Nexus Uni is in the guide? That's right, it's under Getting Started, then Most Used Resources, and then Databases. Now I click on Nexus Uni to access it. What happens next when you access all of our databases is that you are taken to this landing page where you need to click on the Access Online Resource button. After going through the Microsoft 2-step authentication process to access Nexus Uni, we are now on the main page of Nexus Uni. Nexus Uni has 3 parts, a business part, and a news part, and a legal part. To access the legal part, simply click on the legal link. To search for court cases, click on the Cases link. To search for law review articles, you can click on Law Reviews and Journals link. That was a very brief overview of Nexus Uni. If you need further help, please contact me using the information on the screen. To get to the American Constitutional Law Guide from the library homepage, follow the instructions on the screen. That is the end of this video. I hope that you have success in this class.